All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to a brand new video. We're here with our first podcast of today. Um, I also, um, I also have your partner, my grandma.
Hello.
And so today we're just gonna be doing our first brand new series called Podcast. Um, if you would like to tell the viewers what our podcast is going to include and what are like our what are we going to be doing in these podcasts.
Well, we're going to be talking about unexplainable phenomena.
Yeah, for this episode, but in general,
We're going
what
to
is
be
this pod?
giving opinions on different things,
Yeah,
different
different things,
topics.
different topics, things like that. But today we're going to be focusing on the unexplainable, more on the horror side in a way, things like that. So, if you guys like this type of kind of content, let us know down below. I know this channel is very um out of place, meaning like the upload schedule is our or I should say our upload schedule is like very unknown. Um, you could say that is maybe a little bit of like a ridiculous of grandma because sometimes she likes to deny a recording every time, but and that could be the reason why we don't upload. But yeah, let's get started. Let us know down below if you have any suggestions, feedback, ideas, how to improve our podcast. Um, and yeah, let's just get straight into the podcast. So, unexplainable things. So, I'm gonna share my stories that I've seen on the internet, or maybe on TV, or on social media, aka the internet, maybe in real life. Um, just some of the explainable things that I've encountered, experienced, seen, heard, whatever. And then we're gonna go to the same thing with Grandma over here. Maybe one story per turn. And then we're just gonna talk about the main gist of this podcast, which I'll be telling you the story at first. We're just going after I tell the story. We're going to talk about it, our opinions and thoughts on it. And then later on off podcast, I'm going to show you the video that the first story that I explained. So this guy on TikTok, I forgot his name, and he made 3 parts so far, or maybe 3 parts only. Um, he is 100% sure he say this pretty much in I think every single part. He doesn't do drugs or he doesn't do that. None of those you know I those what people do like bad stuff like that uh you could say like I don't want to say because of YouTube policies and reasons, but I'll just say for the sake of it, I'll say quickly. But like alcohol and stuff, he doesn't do it. Doesn't smoke all that whatever. Um, so in his first part, he explained that he is a delivery guy who does this for many months, possibly years, and he always delivered to the same guy and the same person every time. He delivered the parts over to him. They, chat a little bit, and then, he goes on his way. And then the delivery guy goes on his way to his own business. But this time, 24 hours that he saw him last, 20 hours before he saw him again, um, the delivery guy, same as usual, and the guy who wanted some parts delivered. He was working on his bench, As soon as the delivery guy, who I forgot the TikTok username, um, he was like, as soon as he saw um this guy, he gasped and was like, and then gave his parts, and the guy was laughed a little bit and said, "You're a little bit jumpy." And then he was like, "Okay, here you go. Here's your parts. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I don't feel really good. I gotta go. See ya." But the reason why he acted that way was because, and by the way, this was like 3 to 4 days ago. This is actually recent, in a way. Um, the reason why he acted that way was because the guy who delivered the parts to this guy, he's an older gentleman. Um, Starting with his eye filter or whatever, his eyes were completely black, no reflections, just completely black. His eyes, and in a way, he said weirdly, his ears were kind of like pointy. Wow, that thing. Um, and it said in the timeline or at the bottom of the TikTok video, it seems like a series of it or something. It says, I something like I saw a person with like a demon face. Um, but it didn't explain like yeah, I'm kind of freaked out. So and he's homeless. Him and his wife and children. Um, he's not gonna tell his boss of what he saw, whatnot, or he's not going to quit his job because his job that he has, he cannot lose it. Otherwise, he's screwed. Like that's all he's have. So he's not gonna tell his boss. He doesn't really want to go back. He's nervous because you know. And yeah, and so, and then another thing, I think it was in part two. Um, Explaining of the another experience. Well, it's not really another experience, but another thing that kind of happened. He went to a gas station, and he didn't look at anyone. No one. No one. No one. And there was a lot of people in there, but he didn't look up. He got what he needed, just looking across the displays, got what he needed. When it was time for him to cash out, whatever, he didn't even look up to the person, cashier. He looked down, grabbed his cash to give it right there, and just walked out, never looked at anyone. Um, and then somewhat after the solar eclipse that happened that day ago, after he said that the clouds were different, like more gray or whatever. He said that he could just be dumb for that, but the other thing that he saw was that guy with the black eyes. Now that like, and he said he has like perfect vision, and he says like I'm not on any medication. I'm not, doing drugs, things like that. He's 100% sure. Some people saying, "Oh, well, you smiled in that video. You chuckled a little bit during, uh, in that part of that in that first video." Um, he said that the reason being was because the reason why I kind of chuckled was I wasn't as terrified when it happened. He said that when he recorded a video, it was like 1 hour or half an hour after he had seen that experience. So he's not as terrified. And he's reason. Oh, well, you probably are wrecked or whatever because your teeth is missing. Well, the reason why his teeth was missing and the why he kind of looked funny because when he was younger, his mom didn't. His mom didn't let him and his siblings, or they didn't. She didn't teach us or let us brush her teeth. And ever since then, he's been scared of dentist. And then, just so you guys know, I'm also scared of dentist. Anyway, not the point. So that's another reason. And he just basically, in a way, kind of debunked of all the negativity. And, like, I'll show you after, maybe later, maybe for supper or something, after the video or something. But yeah, so basically, long story short is that's the story of the first of many, maybe. Um, Saw a person or his and they said they were kind of close friends. Not gonna lie, it seemed like it was his brother or whatever. And he also said that he he kind of felt bad that he saw him like that. He did not want it to seem like that. He actually was kind of close to him, and so. But yeah, so my opinions on that story and what I saw recently, actually a couple days ago or something. I mean, yeah, yeah, I'll be terrified too. I don't know if you would be. You'll get a chance to tell your thoughts and the feedback and stuff on that after me. But yeah, I mean, I would be terrified too. I mean, and also he says like that. Oh, someone says his friend told him that there's a new disorder coming out. That basically this new disorder lets people see demons or whatever. Um, and now he said, now is that true or is he said two reasons is because he's a 100% believer of God, uh whatever he believes in it and stuff. But he said that either God is finally letting us see demons or whatever, or or they're just making it seem like we're being crazy, and they're like they're saying, oh, everything's fine, but it's really not. But again, that was bonus information that I forgot to tell in the story. But yeah, my thoughts. Yeah, that I would be terrified. I mean, if that is true and whatnot. I mean, if if you experience at some point or whatever, maybe in the future, or maybe you already seen in the past or whatever, or maybe you will in the future. I mean, it could literally happen to anyone. For example, like um, I am kind of a full believer of paranormal activity, and I'm gonna say this right now before Grandma either confirms it or corrects me when she finally talks about this story. But I believe she's also a believer of paranormal activity, uh, and so therefore, for all you know, and for anyone know, anytime I could see you with black eyes, like because whatever some reason, like this, you could literally see probably anybody with black eyes if somehow they're not what they seem to be or whatever.
Well, if
But
they're evil, you would see them with black eyes. But I don't think if they weren't evil, you wouldn't see them with black eyes.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I would be really terrified. I feel like this is definitely a conversation to dive deeper in. Maybe look them on the internet, whatever, see maybe research is a bit more. But yeah, me on this story, I yes, very terrified. Second, maybe more terrified depending on the situation and how that scene situation goes. And three, yeah, I would be on the same boat as him. I don't know what to think. Uh, can't process correctly, things like that. Um, and that things in that nature. But yeah, so you guys might hear that a little bit. But again, now let's hear Grandma's feedback about this story because it's very kind of interesting. So
Well, it's unexplainable for sure. Uh, did it happen? I'm sure that it did to that person, that it happened to them. And they were terrified. Who wouldn't be terrified? I mean, it's anything that is unexplainable is can be frightening, especially when you don't have a good reason for it. And it's not anything that you have seen before or known to happen. The unknown is always scary. And yes, I do believe in paranormal activity, and I do believe that there are demons. Uh, I don't think that happens to everyone. I think it's probably a rare thing that happens, but a scary thing that happens. And why it happened to that person, again, it's unexplainable. But I do believe that if a person is good, you wouldn't see something like that. It would have to be something that was evil that was that way, or alien to us that we don't know. So, again, the unexplainable, the unknown is always scary.
All right. Well, let's give it up to that first story. All right. Now let's move on to the second story of any unexplainable events that either happened, that you've seen, heard, watched, whatever. Well, this time, let's hear the second story by Grandma.
Well, this is a true story that happened.
So, is it a true story that happened to you? Have you seen it on the
It has happened to me.
All right. Hope you
And
guys can. Hope you guys can hear it. By the way, so.
and it happened one night when I was sleeping, and I was having a dream of a coworker who was saying things to my boss that were negative about me. And I was shocked because I thought that that person was my friend. And so I sat up straight in bed and called that person's name out loud. And it woke me up. And I thought, well, I was having a bad dream. And I looked at the clock, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, oh, forget it, go back to sleep. Well, the next day I went to work, and I'm talking to that person and saying, I had a dream about you. And she said, well, I thought I heard you call my name in the middle of the night. And I got goosebumps on my arm, and I said, what time did you look at the clock? She said it was 3 o'clock, and I could have swore you called my name. I heard you. And I was dumbfounded. I said, well, I was dreaming about you, and I did say your name out loud, and it woke me up. And then she got a strange look on her face. And that really happened. How could she hear me call her name in the middle of the night and wake up, and me wake up at the very same time? Now that's unexplainable. That is something that happened. But why it happened, how come it happened, I have no idea. But it was kind of frightening.
And just remember, guys, I'm pretty sure that you were by yourself, alone at your house.
Yes.
No one was with you.
No.
And your friend, like, is probably like not even by you, or
No, she was alone in her house.
which is probably nowhere even near here.
No.
So just remember that, guys, also.
So that was very frightening. And, you know, it was almost like it was telepathic. Like she could hear me and I could hear her.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that happens, but it does sometimes. I've heard of it happening to other people, but I was shocked when it happened to me.
Yeah. Feedback. Yeah, that is like very strange. Like I have no idea, like
Totally unexplainable.
yeah.
So there are phenomena that happen that we can't explain. And because we can't explain it, we become afraid of it sometimes.
Yeah. Alright, well, give it up for the second story. Um. So yeah. We'll be right back. Right back, guys. I know this is not edited, and it's still not, because I would actually have to like edit, but I'm not. I'm just pausing the podcast real quick. One sec.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our podcast. We definitely would like to hear from you on your thoughts and any stories that you might have. You could put down in the comments, and for sure we'll be making a part 2 to this podcast. I want to again thank you for joining us, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any feedback, and again on how to improve this podcast, that kind of little series or whatever, by all means do so. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.